up, guys? Welcome to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, released in 1988. Going forward, I'm going to be doing something different with these videos, starting in this episode, as I feel like these videos need more structure. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe as well for more content. And without further ado, let's get into it. Imagine if we'd gotten Freddy vs. Jason in 1988 instead of 2003. That was almost the case, as talks between Paramount and New Line began to see if a deal could be reached to have these two icons face off on the big screen. However, New Line at the time declined due to Freddy's ever-growing popularity, seeing no need to do a crossover with Paramount. So, Paramount had to pivot and find Jason a new worthy opponent. He was still going to be fighting somebody, but the question was, who would it be now? Timu Carey or Tina Shepard, a teenager who possesses telekinetic powers. She is here with her mom as well as Dr. Cruz, a great secondary antagonist who has ulterior motives of his own by exploiting Tina to use her powers for his own research and fame. After one session with Dr. Cruz, Tina runs outside on the dock and wishes for her deceased father, who died at the same location years prior, to return, and senses a body at the bottom of the lake, which she uses her powers to set it free, only for it to be Jason Voorhees instead, and all hell breaks loose. No pun intended. With the new matchup set, an initial script was written in the summer of 1987 but was later discarded. Director John Carl Buechler was hired last minute in November of that year, with filming beginning the following month in Alabama, as this film was given a 6-month window for completion to meet a Friday, May 13, 1988 release date. The role of Jason this time around went to none other than Kane Hodder, my personal favorite Jason actor, and he would portray the hockey masked maniacal killer for the next 3 movies. Buechler casted Hodder for the role after seeing Hodder on the set of another movie titled Prison, which was also released in 1988, where Hodder put live worms in his mouth, which won Buechler over with the level of commitment. Aside from the story revolving around our final girl, we have a group of teens staying next door, which is a similar setup to part 4, right? And per usual, Jason shows up and kills them one by one. Tina then realizes that she's the only one that can put a stop to Jason. And we got our new matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Telekinesis versus machete. Which one's gonna come out on top? Now, as far as box office performance, this movie pulled in 19.2 million total, with a budget of 2.8 million. It opened at number 1 and made 8.2 million in its opening weekend, but it was still less than part 6 overall, and wasn't enough to ignite this franchise's staying power. As far as what I liked about The New Blood, as I mentioned earlier, Kane Hodder is my favorite version of Jason. I absolutely love what he brings to the character. I gave CJ Graham his flowers in the previous episode with his, robotic machine-like movements. I feel as if Kane Hodder adds a little more to that, keeps those same movements somewhat, but also brings a little bit of ferocity. You can tell Jason is visibly angry now, and also the stunt work that he does in this movie, he gives it his all, man. It's phenomenal. From the scene where he jumps through the window and in the third act when the final battle is starting and Tina brings the light down from the ceiling and hits him in the face and he falls back through the stairs, having a real torch dropped on him, to setting himself on fire, being on fire for that large amount of time. I think it was 40 seconds, which was a record at that point. And sticking with Jason, this look of Jason is my favorite. I love the look here, from the exposed back, the exposed spine. And when he's unmasked, I like this unmasked version of Jason. It's badass. I love it. Also, cherry on top for me is the chain around his neck. The little things like that. It works better than the Home Depot look from part 6. I didn't mention that, but I don't really like the gloves and the utility belt that Jason has. I think that's kind of unnecessary to me. But then again, that makes that Jason its own thing. This look here, part 7's Jason, it's its own look. It's scary, it's intimidating. Imagine this version of Jason coming out of the woods after you. You'd probably shit your pants. The telekinesis angle here in this movie, I dig it. It's new, it's different. Like I mentioned, Jason needed a foe. He needed an opponent. We are 7 movies in, Jason needed somebody that can match his strength and his resilience. Here we have Tina and her powers. You know, it adds a little bit of uniqueness to these movies, or to this movie rather. Instead of seeing the same old like normal teenage heroine going up against Jason, this final girl, Tina Shepard, brings a big major advantage over this undead killer. It makes Tina interesting and it makes her stick out more than the previous final girls. And she's not my favorite of the franchise. I still prefer Jenny from part 2, but Tina is up there. She's up there for me. This telekinetic subplot here, it gives this movie something. And to piggyback off that last point, the third act in this movie, the final battle, it's got to be one of, if not the best. This one is probably the most action-packed third act that we've gotten. Things are flying everywhere. Things are getting broken. You got Tina using one of the random teenagers' heads to headbutt Jason using her powers. And it's funny. The head is in a flower pot. She picks it up with her powers and swings it at Jason and headbutts him. You know, she's closing doors in front of him. When Tina's in the woods, she sees Jason on the road standing by a power line. She traps him with some vines and uses her powers to take the power line down and get into the puddle of water Jason's standing in and electrocutes him like that. Like I mentioned, she dropped the torch on him and also sets him ablaze in the basement. Also, the stunt of them blowing up an actual house, I thought it was a cool visual here in this movie. That was a real house they blew up. Luckily, the footage didn't get destroyed because some equipment was destroyed and only 2 cameras survived that explosion. I just dig this final battle. I think this is one of the most entertaining third acts in this franchise. And also sticking with the third act, there is a moment after Jason kills mean blonde girl Melissa, and you have Nick and Tina in the living room. It's so funny how it's shot because it's like the camera's very shaky, it's very erratic. And so you have Tina and Nick trying to squeeze past Jason, and Jason's like trying to keep him in. I think Tina runs towards the door and Jason immediately just slams the door shut. For some reason, that moment right there just, it gets me. It cracks me up every time. He's like, y'all asses ain't going nowhere. And finally, I think the pace of this movie is pretty solid. It's a solid paced film. And I think this movie also balances the Tina storyline with the teenagers pretty well. I mean, the teenagers don't really have anything to bring except the body count. So it goes from Tina experience, you know, being there with Dr. Cruz and her mom, back to Jason killing the random teens, and it just flip-flops until we get to the third act. And I think the movie doesn't drag, and you know, you're never bored. You're never waiting for the movie to end. It's very well paced to me. As far as what I'm on the fence about The New Blood, aside from Tina, Nick, and Melissa, and I'll also add Dr. Cruz as well as Tina's mom. The only characters I really remember from this movie, but everybody else just want to get high, laid, and ultimately laid to rest. So the teenagers here, they have their moments, they do, but again, it's like not enough for me to remember them specifically on whatever they do. And also, I'm not a big fan of the score in this movie. I don't like the booming industrial sounding pieces here, and this movie uses old pieces of music, especially from part 6 in this one. That makes this movie's score not stand out. It's not distinguishable. I just kind of find it generic. It's a generic score here. This score is not memorable. The score is, it doesn't stick with you like the other movies. As far as what I didn't like about The New Blood, now up until this point, you guys have heard me complain ad nauseum about the MPAA's involvement with these movies and how they just came in and just kind of took away the appeal of these movies, which is the kills. But this movie, this is like prime example of MPAA's involvement, because there's hardly any gore, any blood in this one. All the kills are cut. Like, for example, with Dr. Cruz's death, I'm waiting for this guy to get his, because he's this slimy, cunning, disingenuous guy that pretends like he's trying to help Tina, but like I mentioned, he's all for himself. He's doing this for his fame and glory and all that. When Jason has him cornered in the woods, he has the power tool, like the little buzzsaw thing. It shows the buzzsaw going in Dr. Cruz's stomach, but it cuts away quick. It cuts away quick. You don't really get to enjoy this guy getting his because of the MPAA's involvement. You know, and not only that kill, you have several kills here. The guy by the van, I think his name is Ben. the only black guy in the movie. He gets his head crushed by Jason. They shot that one too. In all this bloody glory. Like I said, them damn folks at the MPAA don't know how to have fun. So great kills for me personally, but again, not in what they were initially intended to look like. And finally, I found the ending to this movie to be very strange. You know, after all of the chaos and destruction that we got in the third act, with all this shit flying around and things like that, with Tina's powers and Jason just keep coming back after the house explodes. Tina and Nick end up on the dock and they think everything's cool until Jason pops out of nowhere. Nick shoots him a couple of times. He's out of bullets and Jason hits him and he flies back into a canoe, and then Jason turns his attention back to Tina and he's about to get her until Tina's dead father arises from the dock and takes Jason down, chains him back up, and takes him back down with him. Kind of anticlimactic a little bit. We got all this exciting stuff and then that's how the movie ends. Okay, we got a great final battle, but an ending that kind of feels nonsensical and rushed, like a last minute idea. Let's have the dad come back. That's just how I feel about it. But that is it, guys. Those are my thoughts and opinions about Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Tell me what you think about this one down in the comment section below. Is this one one of your favorites, you know, in the franchise? I wouldn't say it's mine, but it's watchable, it's passable. You know, it's something different in these movies. We got a whole bunch of films in this franchise, and most of them do the same thing. You get this one, and it's pretty decent. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out when I do Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. We'll see about that. And until next time, guys, I'm Brian. Thanks for watching. Peace.